9 years after independence, Pakistan finally adopted its own constitution, and with it, a new identity. The Constitution, passed on February 29, 1956, stated that no law that was incompatible with the Quran or the Sunnah could be enacted, and that only a Muslim could become head of state. It was enforced on March 23, 1956, and Governor General Iskander Mirza was sworn in as the country's first president. The Constituent Assembly had deliberated over how to define the country ever since 1947, when the United Kingdom decided to end nearly a century of rule over the Indian subcontinent. After Britain announced its intention to transfer power, there were growing demands for a Muslim homeland that was separate from a Hindu India.
The first days of June saw the speeding up of history-making in New Delhi. Meeting followed meeting, and still the differences dividing the chief communities seemed insurmountable. Then came the Viceroy's announcement of the British government's final decision as to how power was to be transferred from British to Indian hands. With reservations, of course, the plan has had a good reception, from Nehru for the Hindus, from Jinnah for the Muslims, and from Sardar Baldev Singh for the Sikhs. It meant partition of India.
It amalgamated the Muslim-majority eastern and northwestern regions to form the Dominion of Pakistan, leaving a smaller Hindu-majority Union of India. On August 14, 1947, Lord Mountbatten, Viceroy of India, traveled to the Pakistani capital of Karachi to launch the new Dominion, and Muhammad Ali Jinnah, leader of the All India Muslim League, took the oath of office as Pakistan's first Governor General. The Government of India Act 1935 was to serve as the working constitution of Pakistan until the Constituent Assembly could frame a new one. But the struggle between secularists, led by Jinnah, and Islamist religious leaders wore on. Before a compromise was reached, Pakistan would be a democratic state backed on Islamic principles. In the end, the 1956 Constitution had a very short life. Mirza abrogated it in October 1958 and imposed martial law, appointing Army Chief Ayub Khan as its chief administrator. 3 weeks later, Khan deposed Mirza and assumed the presidency. Khan promulgated a new constitution in 1962, one that retained the Islamic provisions of the original. It also added compulsory teaching of the Quran to the Muslims of Pakistan and introduced the Advisory Council of Islamic Ideology to advise on religious matters. Amid growing unrest in East Pakistan in 1969, the Constitution was once again suspended. And after the region seceded in 1971, becoming Bangladesh, a new Pakistani constitution was framed. The 1973 Constitution, built on the legacy of the first two, went even further, declaring Islam to be the official state religion of Pakistan. It also announced Pakistan's determination to strengthen its bonds with the rest of the Muslim world, and it required that both the president and the prime minister must be Muslims. While it was the last one to be adopted, the 1973 Constitution has been continually amended by successive regimes, using it to political ends. The most radical changes were made by General Zia-ul-Haq, who declared martial law in 1977 and served as president from 1978 until his death in 1988. Zia undertook a process of Islamization that included setting up a federal Sharia court, making Islamic education compulsory in schools, and promoting religious schools, or madrasas. His policies set the stage for Pakistan's slide towards religious extremism and sectarian conflict. After 2001, with the start of the U.S.-led war in Afghanistan, Pakistan emerged as a center for global jihad that now faces its own instability as militant groups target the state. The writing has been on the wall, say experts, from the early days of Pakistan's creation.